All right, guys, Darren from FBA Elite, and welcome back to another video. So 2021 has been a tough year for Amazon sellers, both existing sellers and new sellers that were considering starting an Amazon FBA business. However, one of the biggest issues that us sellers have faced, potentially, I say potentially because you can never predict anything at the moment, is starting to change, and hopefully is going to provide a fantastic opportunity for existing sellers and new sellers as we move into 2022. So I wanted to discuss that in this video to make you guys aware of what is happening, so you guys can start to make preparations now for what might be coming in a few months' time. So let's jump into it. We're going to be looking at shipping prices in this video. Now, the reason this is so important, if you've watched any of my videos from earlier on in the year, I've covered this topic. Shipping prices have been massively inflated pretty much for the past 12 months. And I'm not talking kind of like 1 or 2 times increase. I'm talking like 4 or 5 times increase. And later on in this video, I'm going to show you my most recent shipment, which got delivered last week, to give you an idea of the type of costs that we've been paying. So you can see here, if you just pop in container price index into Google, you'll get lots of recent news stories. And we're just going to go through one of these now to give you an idea of the change that is taking place, and hopefully, I say hopefully, is an indication of what might happen over the next couple of months as we go into 2022. So the title of this news article, Container Spot Rates in Free Fall, which is one of the best headlines I've seen all year as an Amazon seller. So let's read some of the, I'm not going to read all of this, but I'll read some of the most important paragraphs. Container spot rates are falling and are unlikely to see any noticeable edge up for the remainder of what has been a record-breaking 2021, multiple analysts have said. Liner shipping is on course to smash profits in excess of 150 billion this year. So the shipping container companies have done very, very well this year, with, as you can see here, more than 5 times their previous best cumulative effort, as rates have soared high as never seen before. So like I just said, rates are up about 5-fold, so their profits are up about 5-fold as well. However, as the peak season has passed, so although we're still moving into Q4 as we go into kind of halfway through November and then into December, most of the main shipping has actually been done for this. So the big Q4 demand for shipping has actually passed. So a lot of the stock, like for example me, I had my shipment delivered this week. I think it arrived on the 3rd and it's kind of filtering through to the warehouse at the moment. So that's why it's important to be aware of how these costs could continue to come down, because there's not going to be a Q4 peak in December. Now there might be a bit more of a pickup in January and February as people restock after Christmas, and also with Chinese New Year, that will also create a bit of a backlog. But hopefully this is an indication of where we are heading. Now this next paragraph is probably the strongest indicator of hopefully where we are going. Last week saw the biggest week-on-week drop of the index since November the 30th, 2017. A global spot rate indicator which plunged 4.9% in the first week of the month. And if we scroll down a bit further, there's some more information here if you guys want to read that. I'll just leave that on screen for a second if you want to pause it, but I'm not going to read this all out to you guys. But coming down further, this is the key graph. This is the thing that we want to see. Now, depending on which website you look at, you'll see different versions of this graph. This seemed to be one of the ones that a lot of people said was more accurate, so that's why I'm going with this. But you can see here, since the peak at, I guess, the end of August to the start of September, which is funny enough when I commissioned my current shipment, that's why I'm paying sky-high fees on it. They have come down substantially. So if this is an indication of what the prices for 40-foot shipping containers are going to be doing, that's a really good thing for Amazon sellers, both existing and new, because the amount of cash flow it frees up makes a big, big difference, especially if you're not selling tiny products. If you're selling a product that's even kind of medium-sized, then this is going to save you an awful lot of cash flow and also fatten up those profit margins. So what I'm going to do next is show you my most recent invoice for that shipment, like I say, that I ordered around the start of September and got delivered just last week. So this is an invoice from Woodland Group, who are my importer, my freight forwarder that I've been using for many years. I stopped using them for a bit, went to a different freight forwarder, but have come back to Woodland, and so far these guys haven't let me down. Now I know people have had issues with different freight forwarders, and I even know people that have had issues with Woodland Group. So it doesn't really matter who you go with, you are going to face issues. The key is how they manage those issues, and I think whenever I've faced an issue with these guys, they can get it resolved and they're happy to work with me. So I'm happy to keep recommending Woodland Global, as they've been really good for me. That's not to guarantee that you guys won't have an issue with these. But again, I'm happy to use them, and their prices are always very, very competitive, and I've yet to come across a freight forwarder that has been cheaper. So this invoice itself, you can see here, this was for a shipment that weighed just over 3 tons and was just over 15 cubic meters. Now this is just an invoice for the shipping. This doesn't include customs or VAT, because I delay my VAT. Because I'm VAT registered, I don't actually have to pay the VAT. I can delay it using, I think it's postponed VAT accounting, and then all I do is declare it on my next VAT return to say this import took place. So it's much, much better than how it used to be in the old days, where you'd pay the VAT at the point of import and then have to claim it back, and just meant you'd lost a couple of £1,000 in cash flow for a couple of months while the HMRC sat on that. So if you are VAT registered, make sure you're using the postponed VAT accounting scheme. But like I was saying, this invoice is just for the freight and some insurance, and the total invoice cost was £4,290 plus £71 extra for insurance. And if you're shipping in a large quantity of goods, always take insurance. Don't be tempted to scrimp just to save yourself £20 or £30 or even £70. In this case, it's always worth having your goods fully insured. So the total for this shipment was just over £4,300, which I think this is split across 2,200 units over 2 different products. So really, this is making a £2 impact per unit. So that's £2 of profit I lose per unit because these costs were so high. Now, probably 12 months ago, this same shipment would have probably cost me £1,000 or less. So I'm not saying we're going to get back to those rates, but even if we can get halfway there, this goes down to £2,000, that's still going to be an extra £1 or so per unit profit we're making. And people that are looking to start an Amazon FBA business, they will have so much extra money as cash flow rather than tying it all up into shipping. And also that it widens the type of products that you can look at. So for the past month or two, actually longer than that now, I've just been focusing on very small, very light products, trying to find an opportunity. But that sector is much harder to find a good product in, because you want to be selling at a high price, and usually small and light products aren't very valuable unless they're electronics. But again, that comes with its own restrictions and its own hoops to jump through when you want to sell on Amazon. So hopefully, if shipping costs do continue to come down, 1, it will help you with your cash flow. 2, it will make it easier to start an Amazon FBA business because you won't need as much money. And 3, it will allow you to search for more product as well. So this is why it's really important. And this is why I've decided to make a whole video just about the fact that shipping costs are coming down, because I think as an Amazon seller, both new and existing, this is such an important thing to be aware of. So hopefully you guys have found that useful, seeing that invoice and seeing the graph that the costs are actually coming down and hopefully finally heading in the right direction. If you did, I'd appreciate it. Hit that like button. If you are thinking about starting your own Amazon FBA business and you want to hit the ground running, we have got the FBA Elite course. Just go to fbaelite.teachable.com. There's an intro video on there telling you everything that's included. We've got videos covering every single sector of the Amazon FBA business model, plus there's lots of extras included in the course. So you've got over 120 videos, a month's free subscription to Helium 10, and lots of exclusive templates, discounts and contacts, and other bonuses as well. So make sure you check that out. And to wrap this video up, I'm going to pop up 2 thumbnails in front of me now. These will be product research videos. So if you're looking to start your Amazon FBA business at the moment and get started on your product research, give one of those videos a watch, and that should put you guys in a good place. And I'll see you guys on the forums.